So let's get started. First, let's go to the device setting window. After opening the device setting window, you can go to the second tab where it says Operation Mode. As you can see here, most of the functions can be enabled from this window. Anti-Passback, Arm and Disarm, Two-Man Operation Mode, and Duress Mode. We will first start with Arm and Disarm mode. You can think of this function. You can think of it as an alarm system for our access control. Any person registered as an administrator to Arm and Disarm a system will be able to enable and disable the system. There are two requirements to activate this function. First, you must have a reader with the keypad. Second, you must register at least one user with Arm Disarm mode. So, I would like to show you how to activate this function. Let's just start from the beginning. You have to go to first, device setting. After opening the device setting window, go to the second tab, operation mode. When you look at the middle portion of the window, you'll see Arm Disarm function. Click the drop-down list and select Use. Now for this function, you have to set up 2-digit passcode, which are Arm code and Disarm codes. So I'm going to use 01 for the Arm code and 02 for the Disarm code. Once you're done, click Save. Oops, sorry. There you go. Once you're done, click Save and transfer. As I said before, there are two requirements. First, you have to have a reader with the keypad. Second, you must register at least one user with Arm Disarm mode. So let's try registering one user with Arm Disarm mode. Go to Cardholder Management. You can either use the drag button here, or you can also go to the Access Control tab and select Cardholder Management. Let's click New to create new user. Enter your employee ID and employee name. Select your company, department, and go to the second tab. From here, first you have to select the card type, which will be, obviously, access card. After that, enter the card number. You also need to set a 4-digit password. I will just use the employee ID as the password. Now here's the key thing. For the card mode, normally you would have to select employee. in order to register a regular user. But in this case, you have to select arm and disarm mode, which means this user will become the administrator who will be able to enable and disable the system. Next, let's select doors. We have two registered doors here. First, main. Second, second door. I will just register one door for now. Let's click the issue button on the bottom part to issue the card and click save. Once it's saved, click yes to transfer the data. I've already registered a reader with the keypad before initially. So let's see how this function works. Let's go to the monitoring and select integrated monitoring window. I'm going to scan the card to the reader that has a keypad on it, and I'm going to try to arm the system now. First, you have to enter the ARM code. 01. Let's click enter, scan the card, and enter the password. There you see that alarm event just popped up. And the description says ARM, which means the system has been disarmed. Now let's try to disarm the system. First, input the disarm code, press enter, scan the card, and then enter the password. There you go. Another alarm event just popped up, and then the description says disarm, which means the system has been disarmed now. This is how you utilize this function, arm and disarm function. As I said before, you can just think of it as an alarm system for our access control. If you have any questions, feel free to type in so that we can answer your question in a promptly manner. Just to let you know that all the questions and answers will be compiled and emailed to you so that you can later see what kind of questions were asked and how those questions were answered. Next option that we're going to cover is the two-man operation mode. The two-man operation function is designed to increase the security level of the controlled area by granting access when two authorized cards are identified together. In other words, you must scan two authorized cards together to the reader in order to be granted for the access. There are one requirement for this function to be activated. You must register one user as a manager. Let's try that out. Let's go to the Access Control tab on the top and select Card Holder Management. Let's click New to create new user. This time employee ID will be, I'll just use 0002. Let's go to the second tab, card type, access card, card number. Four-digit password. I will also use the employee ID number again. Now for the card mode, you have to register this user as a manager. So let's select the management. Let's select the door. I will also use the main door this time also. Let's click the issue button, save button, and transfer. Now there are one more thing to do. Two-man operation is usually for visitor management, which means, for example, let's say a visitor came by and you want him to be granted for the access. However, somehow you want to increase the security level. So you want to use two-man operation mode. Then you can register one card as the management card, and you can register another card as a visitor card. Those two cards can be utilized together. Just to show you, just to help you understand easily, let's try creating a visitor card this time. Click New. Type in employee ID. Let's name it as the visitor. Card type, access card, card number. Password, and the card mode. Just like I said, select visitor. Let's register the door. Now, we have just created two cards, one for the management, one for the visitor. Let's see how this two-man operation function works. Let's go to Monitoring tab and select Integrated Monitoring. You will need to scan the manager card first to the reader. Sorry, let's do that again. there is one step that I skipped actually. Let's go back to the device setting. Select the device. Let's go to the operation mode and enable two-man operation. Let's click Save, Transfer. Okay, let's try one more time. There you go, two-man manager. Two-man visitor. So this is how it works. First, you must go to the device setting. This is the step that I skipped accidentally. First, you have to go to the device setting, operation mode tab, and enable the two-man operation mode. Next, you need to register one card as the manager, and another card as the visitor. Now, to be granted for the access, first, scan the manager card to the reader, and then scan the visitor card to the reader. If you have any questions, please feel free to type in. We'll just give about 1 minute for you to type in the answer. Okay, if you don't have any questions, we will go to the next step. The next thing that we're gonna cover is the fire group setting. When inputs and outputs are connected to fire or alarm systems, all the doors registered to that fire group will automatically be opened when the fire breaks out. This is the situation that can describe fire group setting. So which means you can create a group, a fire group, and register any doors that you want to register. Now, when the fire breaks out, those doors that are registered to that group, particular group, will be opened automatically. In order to activate this function, first you have to map an input to be triggered as a fire sensor. Let's go to input point setting. Click the little arrow button to select your controller. Select one of the free input. In this case, I will use input 5. Let's double click it. And then what you have to do is, when you look at the bottom portion where it says input type and signal type setting, you can select fire sensor for the input type. Select your building and click Save. Once it's saved, click Yes to transfer. What we just did is we just mapped input 5 so that it could be triggered as the fire sensor. The next thing you have to do is go to the Operation Management tab and select Fire Group Setting. First, name your fire group. Second, select your fire input, which we have just mapped. Next, register the doors. I will register both doors. This means that these two doors, the main door and the second door, will automatically be opened when fire breaks out. Let's click Save and close the window. Now, let's see how it works. Let's go to the Monitoring and Integrated Monitoring window. Here I will trigger the input number 5, which was mapped to be triggered as a fire sensor, to see how it works. This is what you're going to see. You will see a message window that says fire breaks out. Also, the mustering report will pop up automatically. Of course, those two doors, the main door and the second door, which were registered to that fire group, will be opened automatically. Now let's try that one more time. I'm going to trigger this sensor, input number 5. There you go. Message comes out, and then the mustering report will pop up automatically. All registered doors will be opened automatically. If you have any questions, please feel free to type in. Once again, all the questions and answers will be compiled and emailed to you so that you can see what kind of questions were asked and how those were answered. We will just give about 1 minute for you to type in the questions. Remember, you can always type in your questions whenever you want. My colleague, David Yu, will be answering your questions in a promptly manner. Okay. We will continue now. You can still type in the questions whenever you want, so feel free to type in. The next function that we are going to cover is the mustering. This function is designed to keep the record of users who are in the building. So in the event of an evacuation, a listing of all personnel in the building during that particular time will be printed automatically. There is one requirement to activate this function, which is you have to have 2 readers for a single door. Reader in and reader out. I have already set up 2 doors with 2 readers each. There's door 1, which is named as main door, and it has 2 readers, reader in and reader out. Also for door 2, it has reader in and reader out. In order to manually check the status, first, go to the Operation Management tab and go to the Area setting. Name your area and register the doors. What I'm doing right now here is that I'm creating an area for the system to detect whether or not there are still people inside the building. Let's click Save and close the window. Next, let's go back to the Operation Management and let's select the button that says Confirmed Card has left the area. This is the actual window that you can check whether or not there are still people inside the building. Now let's test it out. Since I have installed 2 readers for each door, let's try to scan 1 card to the reader in so that the system can assume that a person is still in the building. In order to do that, let's create another user. Click New. This time it'll be just a regular user. Your name, your company and department. Access card information tab. Select access card as your card type and type in your card number. Enter 4-digit passcode. And this time, let's just select employee for the card mode. Let's register the second door this time. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to scan the card to the reader in, which means I'm entering the building. There. Second door, and this is reader in. So I just entered the building. Let's assume that way. If I scan my card to the exit reader, that means I've just exited out of the building. So the system will assume that I'm not in the building anymore. However, what's going to happen if I scan my card to the reader in, which means entry reader? This way, system will assume that I just got into the building. If I don't scan my card to the exit reader, that means the system will still assume that I'm still in the building. So let's leave it that way, which means I'm still in the building. Let's assume that way. Now, for the mustering report, in order to check the status, like I said, go to the operation management and select this button that says confirm card has left the area. There you go. This user named regular with the card number of 134-44092 is still in the building. This is how the system detects whether or not there are still people inside the building. And this is why you need to have two readers for a single door, reader in and reader out. Now there is a function that you can force this listing of all personnel in the building during that particular time to be printed out automatically. For that, let's go to the Tool tab right here and select Option. When you scroll down, you will see an option that says Auto Print Mustering Report. Whether to auto print mustering report. Let's double click. Let's check the box. Click Apply and click OK. Now, in the event of an evacuation, the listing of all personnel in the building during this time will be printed out automatically if a printer is connected to your system. Do you guys have any questions about mustering report? If you do, please type in. We will just give about 1 minute for you guys to type in the questions. Okay, I'll just continue, but please feel free to type in your questions anytime you want. We will answer your questions accordingly. The next feature that we would like to introduce is the anti-passback. This is the function that's designed to prohibit the act of tailgating the authorized user. The users will be forced to exit an area that they already have entered. Which means, for example, let's say I'm the authorized user with a valid access card. I scan my card to the reader, I open the door, and I get into the building. There's a possibility that any unauthorized user can just tailgate me, which means they can just follow me to get into the building. Anti-passback is the function that can prevent those kind of situations. There is one requirement to activate this function, which is, just like mustering report, you need to have 2 readers for a single door, reader in and out. If any unauthorized user somehow got into the building without a valid access card, he or she won't be able to get out of the building, because since they don't have the access card, they cannot scan the card to the exit reader. In order to activate this function, first, let's go to the device setting, select your controller, and go to the operation mode tab. When you look at the description in the middle, you'll see anti-passback function here. Click and select door 1 enable. Door 1 enable means you are applying anti-passback function to door 1. Door 2 means you're applying this to door 2. There are several other things. Door 1, 2 enable, both of them. And the zone anti-passback. For IDTECK standard, there are only 2 types of anti-passback, hard and zone. For now, I will just use door 2 to make it simple. Let's click. Let's click save and transfer. Now let's test this function out. Let's go to the monitoring and integrated monitoring. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scan my card to the entry reader. There, access granted. If I scan my card again to the exit reader, I will be granted for the access, which means I will be able to get out of the building. However, what if I scan my card to the entry reader and scan it again? There you go. Anti-passback error. The alarm event pops up. One of the ways to utilize this is that, for example, let's assume that I'm the authorized user. I just scan my card to the entry reader. I open the door and I get into the door. Before the door closes, I somehow pass my card to any unauthorized user outside the door. What's going to happen if that unauthorized user tried to get into the controlled area by scanning my card again to the entry reader? You will get this anti-passback error message. Why? Because my card was already scanned to the entry reader before, when I was coming into the controlled area. So for the anti-passback, always remember this sequence: in and out, in and out. Once the card has been scanned to the entry reader, which is reader in, the card must be scanned to the exit reader in order for it to be able to be used again. Now, since I scanned my card to the entry reader, let's scan it again to the exit reader. There you go, access granted. So it's in, out, in, out. This is the sequence. If it's in, or out, that's not going to work. There you go. As I said before, for the IDTECK standard software, there are two types of anti-passback function: hard and zone. One that I just described is the hard anti-passback, which is most likely the normal anti-passback for most of the access control system. Now, let's try setting up the zone anti-passback. Device setting, operation mode tab, and select zone anti-passback. Click save and click yes to transfer. What it does is that you are actually creating the zone for the anti-passback. To help your understanding, I will explain this way. When you'll get here, I have one device, which is iTDC. And how many doors do I have? 1 and 2. Since I just activated zone anti-passback, the device itself could be utilized as a zone, one single zone. Now you will be able to enter through door 1 and exit through door 2. One that I showed you before, the hard anti-passback. For that one, you have to enter through door 1 and exit through door 1. But the zone anti-passback, you can enter door 1 and exit door 2. Let's see how it works. I'm gonna scan my card to the first reader for the main door. Please just bear with me a second so I can register the first door to this user. So now this user is registered. I mean, 2 doors are registered for this user. Let's test the zone anti-passback. I'm gonna scan my card to the first reader. Now you see that I just got granted for the access, and the door that I used is main door. Now I'm gonna try to get out using the door 2, which is the second door, not the main door. There you go. First, I used the main door to get into the building, and then I used the second door, which is the different door, to get out of the building. Let's try that one more time. I'm gonna get in through door 1, which is the main door. And I'm gonna get out through the second door. There. Main, first one main, and second. Main and second. This is how it works. Please feel free to type in your questions. As I said before, all the questions and answers will be compiled and emailed to you. Also, you can always go back and watch the video again. The video will be uploaded to IDTECK website. Next, we will go over the Duress mode. This is the function that is designed to alert and notify the administrator about the duress situation by entering the pre-configured 2-digit passcode in case the user is threatened to open the door. For example, if any user is threatened by some unauthorized user or by someone to open the door, they can always enter pre-configured 2-digit passcode to alert and notify the administrator so that the administrator can take further action. Of course, obviously, in order for you to enter 2-digit passcode, you will need the reader with the keypad. So that's the requirement to activate this function. You have to have the reader with the keypad. Let's see how it works. First, device setting. Select your controller. Go to the operation mode. And for the Duress mode, select Use. Right underneath, you see the Duress mode password section. In this case, I'm going to use 10. Let's click Save and Transfer. Let's see it in action. Now this is the user who is threatened by someone to open the door. Instead of just scanning the card, what this user can do is, first, enter the Duress code, which was configured as 10. Press enter, scan the card, then this message will pop up. Duress alarm. Alarm event with the description of Duress alarm will pop up. This will alert and notify the administrator to take the further action. This is really simple to configure. So most of the functions can be enabled from device setting window and the operation mode tab. There are Anti-Passback, Arm and Disarm, Duress mode, and two-man operation mode. All you have to do for the Duress mode is come to this window, this tab, and enable it. After that, configure Duress mode password. That's all you have to do. The next thing that we are trying to cover is the time schedule. This is the function, time schedule is the function to restrict access hours. It's designed to restrict access hours of the users to increase the security level as well as a convenience in management. The doors will only be opened during the configured time. So first, let's go to the access control and the time slot setting. I've already configured one time slot, but I will delete it and show you again. Access control tab, time slot setting. Let's click new and name the time slot. Slot A. Let's check the little checkbox right here to use time 1 section and enter the time frame. I will use from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can see that the time frame between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. has been created. Let's click Save and close the window. After creating the time slot, the next thing you have to do is create the actual time schedule. So let's go to the Access Control tab and Time Schedule setting. Let's click New and Yes. Now, first thing you have to do is select the time schedule code. You can just simply think of it as numbering. You are just numbering your time schedule. If you have 10 different time schedules, you can number it from 1 through 10. I'm just going to number it as number 2. After that, you can name the time schedule. TSA. Now, when you look at the bottom portion right here, you'll see weekdays from Monday to Sunday. Right next to it, you see a drop-down list. When you click it, you see the time slot that you have just created. I will apply this time slot to Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. This means that time slot, which was configured from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., has just been applied to these 3 days, weekdays, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Let's click Save and Transfer. One thing to let you know is that time schedule can be applied to either doors, users, and input and outputs. First, let's try applying it to the door. Let's go to the door setting. Select your controller. When you look at the middle portion of the window, you see the option that says Unlock Time Schedule. Let's select to use, and let's click the drop-down menu there. There. You see all available time schedule right there. One that we have just created is TSA, which includes the time slot that has the hours from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So if you apply this time schedule to this door, door 1, what's going to happen is this door will only be unlocked during that configured time, which is from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It'll only be unlocked, completely unlocked during those times. This is one way that you can utilize time schedule. Next, when you go to the input point setting, let's select input 5, which we have used before to set up fire group. We mapped this input to be triggered as a fire sensor before. Now, here you can also apply time schedule. Input time schedule setting right here. Click to use, set to use, select your time schedule. This way, this input will only be triggered for that configured time, which is from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. This is the another way of utilizing the time schedule. Now finally, let's try to apply this to users. Let's go to the cardholder management. This is the user that we have created before to test anti-passback and others. Now, let's try to apply this time schedule. When you look at the right portion of the window, you see the listing of registered doors. Select any door that you want and click here where it says time schedule not used. When you click this, you will see all available time schedule. All available time schedules will be displayed. Select it and click apply. Let's do it for the second door also. Click to highlight the second door. Select your time schedule and hit apply. Now you can see that the time schedule section right next to the door name contains the information, the name of the time schedule. Click modify, save and transfer. Now, this user will only be able to use these two doors during that configured time only, which is 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. This is how to apply time schedule to users, cardholders. If you have any questions about duress mode and time schedule, please type in. We will just give about 1 minute for you to type in your questions. Next feature is the report feature that we will be covering. There are many types of reports that you can print out and check. First, let's select this report tab right here. Here, you can see many different types of reports that you can use. Device setting report, holiday setting report, time schedule report, cardholder report, normal event, alarm event report, and more. The most frequently used reports are, first, cardholder reports. This will show a list of all registered cardholders. When you click report, there you go. Regular, arm and disarm, visitor, and two-man operation. That's how we name those users. Cardholder name, employee ID, access card number, access card type, access card mode, and more. All this kind of information will be displayed. Another one that people frequently use is the allowed card holders by doors. This will show which card holders are registered for which door. You can simply click the search button here to select your door and click report. Now it shows you that the user cardholder name, visitor, regular, arm, disarm, and two-man operation are registered to use this door, main door. Now the event report, normal event report, and the alarm event report are also frequently used by our users. Of course, this will show you a list of all events that have occurred. All the information about the events, normal events, and the alarm events. You will be able to check all these informations. Not only this, there are many types of report functions that you can see right here. And you will be able to export in Excel format also, if necessary. If you have any questions about any functions that we have just covered, please feel free to type in. Once again, all these questions and answers will be compiled and emailed to you. We are recording this webinar session also right now, so you will be able to watch it again from our website. So this is it. These were the functions that we were trying to show you. And what we have tried is that we tried to show you how to set up and what's the result, like result out of it. For example, how it works out. So basically this is it. We will wrap up here for today. Thank you very much for joining today's webinar, and I hope to see all of you soon. If you have any further questions, feel free to contact us anytime. Please email us your questions. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye.